7:30, 7:45 in that morning, I was at work and the call came out for shots fired. It was at a high school, Saugus High School, November 14th of 2019. And the updates coming in was there's confirmed multiple gunshot victim down. Shots are still being fired, and I could not get there fast enough. My response time was about 12 minutes to get there from where I was. I was a field sergeant that day. And it continued. The calls, the updates were coming in. As I was pulling up to the school, literally hundreds of kids were running past me out the school, down the street. I got kind of swallowed by kids as I was pulling in. And I ran into the school. I didn't take the time to grab a shotgun or my AR-15, or I just went in with my pistol. And when I ran the corner into the quad, I saw one of my friends who was off duty in civilian clothes. He had been dropping his kid off at the school when everything went down. He's doing CPR on a kid, and there was a girl laying next to that boy that he was doing CPR on. There was a girl laying next to him, and he's yelling at me by name. You need to help me. We got to do CPR. She's not breathing. And I said, I can't stop, Danny. Where's the shooter? Where's the shooter? And he said, I think he went that way, but I need your help. I need your help. And in training, everything we do with active shooter training, as hard as it is, as terrible as it is, you have to bypass victims to go after the shooter. If you stop at a victim and that shooter's still out there, still claiming more victims, you're not doing any good. You got to put them down and stop it, and then get all the help in to render aid. That's just how it is. I mean, he's off duty, he's doing what he's doing, but as an on-duty personnel coming in, we've got to go chase the shooter down. And it was erroneous info. Typically when these things happen, people get tunnel vision. They hear shots, they see people running with cell phones in their hand, they become the shooter. You'll get people that are being described as the shooter that aren't the shooter, and that's what happened in this incident. As I looked down at, her name was Gracie. She was laying there. Obviously, she was gone, but I knew that we needed to do something for her, but I couldn't. And so I had to bypass her and press on. And we got another report. There was another gunshot victim down in a classroom on the north side of the school. So I took a couple deputies and we went up and got to that girl, and we got one fireman in to start rendering aid to her. She was shot in the stomach. And then we got another report of another gunshot victim down in the administrative office. Somebody got to him. I didn't have to go to that. And then we got another report of another gunshot victim down in the choir room. And I had to take my team and get to the girl in the choir room. She was also shot in the stomach. So it was pretty terrible, pretty chaotic. The shooter killed himself. We didn't have to engage him. He had killed himself right before we got there. We didn't know yet. We got him quickly identified as another student, and his cell phone was pinging to his house, which was just north of the school up on top of a hill. So we assumed he got back to the school. We assumed he got back to his house. We set up a containment on his house. So now we got the issues at the school, evacuating kids, injured kids, people running everywhere, people locked down everywhere. And now we have another potential threat at the house. And the house was next door to an elementary school on top of the hill. So come to find out, he's not in the house. He left his phone at home on purpose. He had planned the whole thing out. He was dead on the campus. Pretty terrible thing. There was no SRO there when the shooting happened, when it started. However, there were a lot of off-duty personnel dropping their kids off. We had 2 LA County Sheriff personnel and a federal agent from the ATF that were immediately went into the school. They didn't hesitate. Off-duty, armed with nothing more than a handgun, no bulletproof vest, no helmet, no tactical gear. They went in. That's the heroism of law enforcement. And we got there when we could, but it was like this terrible response time of hearing the updates, knowing it's legit, knowing it's not training. And then all that training came in. All the things that we would say, God, another day of training, it all came into play. It was pretty tragic.